And we are back. The song
Hello.
is so good that I really don't wanted to start the live stream. I just want to listen to the song. It
Kind
was
of
so
hypnotizes
nice.
you, doesn't it? I
Yeah,
was almost going
exactly.
into a deep sleep then.
Yeah. I mean, you are the music professional, right? So
Oh,
you
I
can
don't know
tell if
about
it's
that.
good or not.
But good to see you again, Sally.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. And welcome back, everyone. We're really excited for new week, for new problems to fix. I'm Sali. I work with AWS as a developer advocate. And alongside me, I have my partner in crime, the best of the best,
Thank you.
Rick.
Thank you. And so yeah, welcome folks to Full Stack for Noobs, episode 15, I think, Sally. Can you believe it?
I
15
didn't.
episodes
Oh my
already.
God, 15 episodes. It's crazy.
Yeah. So for those of you who are joining either on the watching the recorded video or a live stream, this is a series where Sally and me have been building a game from scratch, starting off with the intent, then moving to the front end before completing the back end, and then finally stitching it all together. And where we left it in episode 14 was we have actually got a beautiful application that is working, and it is a thing of beauty, Sally. I've got to say, it is a thing of beauty. But as always, we are perfectionists, aren't we? So there were a few things that we had to do, right? So what we are going to be covering today, Sally, okay, is we're going to first of all pick up where we left off the conversation at the end of episode 14, which was completing or having a discussion about the admin page, right? Which is, and
Yeah.
the admin page is where we're going to actually create games for events. Okay, so again, just a recap. This is we're creating a game for the Kiro Developer Quest. And this is going to be run at AWS booths. If you go to an event and you see an AWS booth, hopefully you might see this. And so obviously we're having an admin screen so that to make it easier to create a new game for a new event. Okay. And so at the moment we were just using the APIs that we created to do this manually, but obviously we want to make it nice and user friendly for folks to set this up. So that's where we're at. So Sally, I guess the first question, right? And we probably touched upon this at the end of episode 14. Front or back? Where does this live?
it's the front end. We will do it from front end.
I'm
So
glad you said that. I'm glad.
yeah.
I think you're right. I think you're right. No, because of the solid
So
back-end APIs we've already created, we don't need to do anything there.
sure, man. Sure. Yeah, of course. So here's what we're going to do. Right now, we have backend, and we know that like backend can be trickier to touch. It's more non-flexible way, like built in a
Exactly.
non-flexible
Simple.
way.
Just like
But
me.
hey, oh, no judgment, no judgment. We are here as
None
developers.
taken, say, none
But
taken.
yeah. So here's what we are going to do. We will create our own approach to the spec. So I will create a new markdown file.
Yep.
And you know what? Let me share my screen while I
Yes. And
talk.
whilst you're doing that, Sally, you will be very glad to know and hear that since we last spoke last week, I have been dabbling with Astro. And I know you're a big fan of Astro.
Nice. Nice. Astro
Yeah.
is nice,
So
right?
you definitely have you're definitely making the inner front end of me come out.
Yeah. Astro is great. As I said, for me, Astro is one of those frameworks that makes the life of developers easier, especially when you have the text-heavy content. It makes your developer experience better, so you can write with Markdown and so on. The routing and everything is good. You have
Yeah.
the server-side rendering support, everything that you would ask out of a framework to make
Yeah,
your
I'm
life
definitely
easier. You
I'm
have it.
definitely I'm slowly getting into it, Sally, because obviously up until now I've been a Hugo person, right? But now I'm enjoying the extra power that Astro gives
Yeah.
you, right?
I mean, like Hugo had its time and
It
all.
had its
No
time.
shade on Hugo.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
We all used that. We had our personal blogs and everything there, but now it is time for the Astro to shine.
Yeah,
But
indeed.
yeah,
Indeed. So, right,
maybe
okay.
that's another idea that we can build later. But anyway,
We've
so
got a project up here, okay? So right, so we've got the front end and the back end all in one repo.
yeah, I
And
created a new I created a new folder. I just decided to do it now. I'm just going rogue. If it doesn't make sense, please
No,
stop me.
I makes sense to me. Makes sense to me.
And
So we're going to be
let me move
creating a
us
new
also down. So
we're going to create a new Markdown document, and here we're going to basically write down what we're going to create, right?
exactly. And this feature is called admin page.md, right?
Okay.
And
So I think probably what we're going to need as well is if you haven't already got it started, the back end. We might want to start the back end so that we've got access to the Swagger doc, so we can maybe give it a hint to the APIs it needs to use.
Yeah. We will have. Here's the structure that I'm thinking of, right? So we will have a title of the task, one sentence explanation of what we are going to be doing. Then we will have a section called rules. The rules will have the information that I want to share with this task.
Okay.
Such as where to find the backend, where to find the Swagger file, or what platform to use and so on. We will just think, and we will also make sure it's part of the project and it is guarded by a password and so on and so forth. We will also mention there will be a super admin page and there will be an event admin page.
Got ya. So Sally, let me ask you a question then. So we talked in the earlier episodes around Kiro and steering files, okay?
Yes.
And one of the features that Kiro has in the steering files is the ability to generate steering files, right? So it can generate them for you based on exploring the current repo and the files. So would this be a good case for using that feature here, so that that we could refer to it when we're actually doing the prompt? The steering docs are there, or would you not do that in this instance?
That is a great question. I think I would skip it for now because I will run the backend anyway, and I will not ask this to make sure to run the backend or something. What I will do is I will say that, hey, backend runs at this, and we are doing this, and you can get this information from this endpoint. So everything that we might ask from it should be available there. So that's
how I would do it as well, because we're being very specific, right? We're being very targeted.
Yes.
And so that folks.
So you were testing me.
I'm just getting your point of view, because people who maybe are new to these tools, new to Kiro, might have been playing around with steering, might be thinking, well, why isn't Sally and Rick using those? So I wanted to bring it up because my instinct also is, as you start using these, as you carry on typing, I'll just fill in while you're typing, Sally.
All right.
So as you as a developer start using these tools, you'll start to get an intuition for what or how to use the tools to achieve certain outcomes, right? And so, yes, Kiro can generate steering files by introspecting the files in the repo, and that will provide useful information. But we also, because we've been through this code base from the beginning, we also have a really, really good understanding of how it works. And so when we're doing something very specific, so in this instance, we want to have a lot of control over the creation of the admin page, it kind of makes sense for us to dictate what actually is relevant and useful. And so this is where, as you start using these tools, you'll start to begin to get an intuition as to when to use steering files for more broader, generic information, versus, as you'll see Sally start to put together, the very specifics of what we want it to look at. I think it's API docs, isn't it, as well? Are you gonna do that? Okay, right, got you.
Yeah, I will do it as a separate.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think you're right. Yeah, and I think also it's not clear right at the moment how they get API tokens, because obviously at the moment that's actually when you start the back end and you go to the config screen, you get the API token, right? So we the what we've noticed in previous episodes is Kira kind of like wastes a few cycles trying to basically do requests to the APIs and then failing because it hasn't got the token right. So we probably want to put saying you need to get a token, a bearer token for accessing the APIs as well.
But does it really need it right now? Like, because I think this is more.
So I think the reason. So here's my thinking, Sally. Right,
Yeah.
if we're going to ask it to generate code, if it doesn't know that, it's going to generate code without asking for the bearer token, and therefore it's going to fail on authorization, right? So I think we need to include it. Otherwise, it's not going to even consider that. Yeah.
All right. So the rules. In the simplest term, the rules are so like we have this.
But I think we need some more information. We need some more information as well on the actually what we want the admin page to create, right? So I think that's the rules, and so we need a functional spec now, right? What actually does the page need to do, and it needs to allow someone to create, so effectively a button or a URI. I don't think we would have it on a button because we don't want it to expose it on the main gameplay, right? So it needs to be on a URI that's not on the actual game UI. So it's a separate UI on a separate URI that allows you to list events, create events, edit events, delete events, even maybe even delete events. And then we want the event when you create a new event. What are the fields we need to create, right? So we know it's going to be an event name, we know it's going to be an intro text, we know there's going to be an access code, and I can't remember from the API what other things we need in there. So I think we have to put all that in this.
Like, here is what I have in mind. I don't know what you think about it. I'm just thinking out loud. My thinking is, I would write the rules, like I have a few rules like to self check and so on. Then I will create an acceptance criteria. Then I tell Kira to create tasks according to the acceptance criteria in this file inside here and run the tasks. What do you think?
So I think that's right, but we still need to steer for the acceptance criteria. We still need to give it a bit more information, I think. But I think you're right. I think
100%.
So yeah, so we absolutely want to do what we want to create. Yeah, absolutely.
So in here, for example, I will say super admin will be able to super admin. Yeah, super admin will be able to. Come on, you have heard this, you know it.
I do. Yeah, root user.
Yeah. It's super admin now. Super admin will be able to create, delete, update, and see all events. And event admin what can they do? Add questions to the events.
So okay, so are we? Is this maybe making things too complicated? Do we need a super admin and an admin? Don't we just don't we? I don't think we need to over-engineer this. It's an admin function that has all rights to create, edit. I know. I see what you're saying. You want one admin to be able to create, delete, and then delegate that down to someone. Is that your thinking? You wanted to be able to delegate admin.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think if that's the case, we need to think need to think about that from the context of the data model, because I'm wondering how we're going to manage the state.
Yeah, my fear is so I see it like this. So there will be an admin, let's say. So if So we will have folks who will be able to do one-off events and so on, right? And I don't want to give a lot of power to these people during the time. Like if they have the same power on like questions and so on, what if they remove it? What if they do some like voluntarily or involuntarily decisions on some of the tasks and basically mess things up? So that's why I want to have a super admin, and then like I want to have event admin. Event admins can see the details of the event
Yeah,
and
I hear
add or
you.
remove questions.
I hear you. I'm just thinking about where would we manage the state of that?
We don't have backend.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You see, that's why our data model
To
did
yeah,
our data model didn't have this right. So
yeah,
in this situation, if we wanted to do this, I think the first
yeah,
thing we need to think about is actually where we manage the state. Now, what we have at the moment is just the fact that we've got an API that allows you to create events.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and so I think we want an admin UI page that is basically allowing you to create edit. Now, the tricky thing here, okay, is because we don't have state managed for this, right? It's going to be a case of we want to control access to that admin page through some kind of key, right? And we can configure that key somewhere, like in secrets management somewhere, or
So here is this is a big problem.
or we have to go back to the back end and update the data model and change and then
I
do all the integration testing again.
I I think changing backend should be easy,
Yeah.
because right
Hey,
now, like I like from my point of view, I honestly like because if we allow people to see other events and so on, I've seen this happening with other projects that people have tendency to check out what they're doing, or
but you know what? This
I
is
don't
making me think. This is making me think,
yeah.
Sally, that the admin should be in the back end, not the front end.
Normally, like it should be in front end, but like some backend might help front end. All right.
Hang on, did I hear you right? Did I hear you right, Sally? That some
Yeah.
back end might help.
Yeah, exactly. Some backend might help.
Right.
That's
Okay.
that's my famous quote. You can quote me on that. Here's what I will do though. I will still write acceptance criteria and see what tasks it's going to create.
Okay. But
And
bear in mind, I think we just need to be aware of the fact that
yeah,
if we are creating an admin and we don't have a way, because obviously we're not authenticating users, right, to access this at the moment. There's no authentication. There's
yeah,
a we create an event access code, which is the only thing we've got, right? But we're creating a UI to create that, so it's like a chicken and egg situation, right?
yeah, yeah.
So so so
No, that's
so
why we have to change backend as well. Like we have to.
well, we do, or we. I mean, I think this is why it's a very good lesson, right? Because we are vibe coding this. This is a really useful input to make and improve the back end to add some additional elements to the data
Yeah,
model, right? Users, effectively system users, right? And the system users would have different levels, right? There'll be an event and then there'll be a super, right?
super
Event,
admin and event
super
admin.
admin,
Yes,
basically, and then just an event admin, yeah. But we don't have that at the moment, right? So
but
what
Kiro
I
can do it.
well, here's the thing. Here's my little. I think we can do it, right? And but
Yeah,
again, this is only for this particular prototype. I wouldn't recommend this approach going forward. For super admin, right?
yeah,
Let's say that we store a secret somewhere, okay, and that when you go to the admin UI and you log in as a super admin, you're asked for a secret, okay, but that's not managed in state at the moment because we don't have that in the back end, right? But
yeah.
when the super admin creates events, and as part of creating an event, you get an access code. That access code is managed in state, and the event admin will use that to log in. So we could do it that way, right? But and that leaves us with just one one secret we need to manage, which is the super admin.
All right. I think I know what to do now. So what like I think I was not very
Does that make sense though?
like
Does that make sense to you?
it makes sense. But I was not very happy with it. But the
Okay, so
reason was like
let's walk
the
through.
right way to do is in the backend side, like changing something on the backend and front end to make it
Okay,
work.
so the
But
latest version of the backend is on your machine, so we should maybe like let's go to the game engine and let's make some changes then to the data model.
I want Kira to do it. I want to give
Oh
the
yeah,
development company to do it.
totally. But here's the
So I
thing. Here's the
was
thing, Sally. Right? Again, we talk about breaking down tasks. We want to make sure that this is the overall thing we're doing. Right? When we ask it to break down into lists, let's make sure that it does the data model piece first. Because it's a dependency. So maybe we know we need to when you're writing this stuff down, state that there's dependencies, right? And the back end project stuff is a dependency, or is all the front end admin stuff is a dependency on the back end stuff being done first.
I agree. I think it should be on. Like first, we need to change the data, then we need to move forward as well. Because right now, I think we are on that stage.
Yep, we totally are. I'm just trying to bring up the data
All
model
right.
now and see what it looks like.
All right. So I still want to write my fancy acceptance criteria. Yeah.
You will write it.
Yeah. All right. So server can create and read events. Event admin can see only the details of their event. They can add or remove questions from the event. So event admins can, and also event admins can have access to questions, and super admin can create, delete, update, and read questions. Event admin can submit questions to be approved by.
We are okay. So you
yeah.
Okay, I think I see what you're doing here. So I think the admin piece is only events, nothing to do with questions. I don't think, because I think the way that Kiro will interpret this is, oh, you want me to make changes to the game engine, and I don't think that's what you mean. What I think what you mean is that because remember the logic we've got is that in the game engine, in the admin UI there, you create questions and then you assign questions to question banks, right? So that piece is done by someone. It doesn't have, and we can make that available to anyone, right? And there's no authentication around it at the moment, but we can control that through the back end, through URI access and all that kind of stuff, right? But when we create an event, we then choose a question bank to use, right? And that's the only control we have, right? When we're creating an event, we can't choose questions. We can only choose question bank.
Interesting. So event admin can submit questions to the other.
So if you go to the API, if you start up the back end and look at the the API docs, you'll see in the API for creating an event, you'll see the API. In fact, actually, you can probably even see it even in the database, actually, in the instance for the event. It'll probably tell you the actual fields that are created through that API.
So
if you go to /API docs,
yes,
and then you go to the event one.
Events, yes, sir.
So post event. So you go. So post event. Okay. So if you click on that, so question. So we got this. This is it, right? So this is the only fields, right? And so question bank ID, name, the custom message, and theme. That's it. So our UI only provides these 4 things.
Yeah.
Right.
But then here is the situation, though. We are not allowing them to select technically a question bank, but actually we are just allowing them to create a bank that is focused only for the use case. What if it's a, let's say, AI event that I want to have a Java or Python
so in that case, right,
well.
what we would say is that we would give them access to the admin UI, right, and say, go knock yourself out, add create a question bank, because remember the questions and the question bank are separate, right? So they can submit questions, or they can use existing questions that are already there, right? And all they do is create a new question bank that says, for example, event X, right? So they create the event bank in the admin UI. That's already there, right? That UI is already there, which you can see on the screen if you go back to the slash. So actually, if you if you go on the UI, if you go just back to the root, one more, okay. So
yes.
so if you click on question banks on the left hand side,
yes,
and then click on new bank.
Yes.
Let's call it Sally's amazing quiz. I'm not sure that would be allowed characters, but it did work. It worked. So now if you go now if you go on the bit below and select bank.
Yes.
And now you can assign questions.
Yeah.
Now all you got to do is go through and tick the ones you want, right? So effectively, this is the task that has to be done before you create an event, right? You have to do this first.
Yeah.
And actually, what we realized,
but do we want AI? Wait a second, I selected all of them anyway. But do we want AI to? Do we want people to? Just do we want super admin to create the bank and they just select the bank, so we define the bank for them? How does it?
So we decide. Well, again, one of the things we wanted to do is disaggregate the two, right, to have flexibility. So when you create an event, right, the event is dependent on a question bank being there. So if you think about the hierarchy, right, or the UI screen should say, right, before starting, do you have your question bank already configured, right? And then go from there. Now, if your question is, do we want to do everything from the front from the admin screen? Then you could, I guess you could, because the APIs are there, right? So you could, for example, from the admin screen, you could say, do you want to create a new question bank, right? So you could do that, right? And do you want to add new questions? You could do that because it's all API driven, right? So if you wanted to do it that way, we could. But from the simplified version of this, okay, is most events will use the same set of questions, right? And because they'll be in the question bank. Because creating questions is hard, right? And so we want to maximize the reuse of them. But we also want to provide flexibility. So I definitely see, Sally, that you can definitely add a lot more automation to this game engine, right? So as an example, you could say we could have a copy question bank that allows someone to copy a question bank and then edit it, right, for their own needs, right? We could do that. We don't have that now, but that wouldn't really touch the data model. It would just basically be a piece of functionality that sits in the game engine, right? So the flow we had, which is why when we did the data model, it was really important that we we looked at the flow was around, creating the game banks, creating the questions first, then assigning them to question banks, because we knew that they were going to be the unit, as a unit as a whole, that an event would use. Because if you look at last year's Q Developer Challenge, right, it had a question bank, one question bank. You couldn't change it. That was it, right? And it had 40 questions, right? Which you could change, right? You could go into the backend DynamoDB and you could change them if you wanted to, right? But there was no UI to do that for you, right? So we're taking a slightly similar approach, whereby we have, if you look at the data model, question is the lowest thing. Questions roll up to a question bank. Question banks roll up to an event, and a game player plays a game at an event, right? So going back to the admin screen and this prompt, okay, I think from the point of view,
it would be funny if I won't change my opinion, right? Good. Thanks for everything, but no.
So effectively, what we're talking about here is that an admin we want an admin to be able to create, delete, update, and read events.
Yeah. So let me take a step back. Sorry, for me to understand. So what we are saying is, we will still keep the super admin for question operations and everything, right? And they can create events and everything, and they will be able to create also question banks for events, right?
Well, let's so the thing is that, so again, they're separate, Sally, right? So they're two separate things, and I guess the question is that when you're writing a prompt, do you want to muddy the waters by putting two different things? Because I think we're going to confuse the AI if we do that. So let's focus on what actually do we want it to do. An admin page has got nothing to do with question banks or questions. Other than we specify.
No, admin should be able to do everything. Right now.
So this is important. This is important, right? So what we're talking about is we're talking about then. I think what you in your head you see a nice front end admin page. Part of the admin page is creating events. Another part of the admin page is question management. The stuff that you saw on the UI that we've already got, which is fine because that's just a.
I thought that UI was. I thought that UI was temporary.
Actually, I was gonna say the same word. Actually, we only created it because we needed something to be able to test it easily, right? So it doesn't have to be. That doesn't have to be the final UI. But what we do need to do is we then do need to make sure that Kira doesn't get confused that we're either replacing, updating that UI, that we're putting a new UI, right? It's on the front end as opposed to the back end, and this is what it's going to look like.
But I will mention that in the acceptance criteria, I mentioned where it can find the projects, and after I define the feature sets, the next thing that I will do is to mention a admin page will be part of the front end project with /admin endpoint.
Okay.
Admin page will be guarded with a password.
Okay.
According to the password, the users will see either event admin page or super admin page. These were the things that I had in mind. And for me, so the super admin can create events, read events. One thing that I still not feel comfortable about is I want event admins to be able to manipulate the questions that they have in their question bank.
Well, they can.
I think we can create.
They can, because it's all through an API, right? So what you're going to have to do is, because if you go back to that UI, right, that UI
Yes.
is
The,
just
the, the
API.
beautiful the beautiful UI or
The bootstrap UI. Yeah.
okay, so the beautiful one. Yes, yes.
So everything you're seeing here is API driven, right?
Yeah,
Anything we can do through this UI, you can do through a React component, right?
yeah,
So we can absolutely do that, right? And we can even make it look even better.
yeah. I mean, this is already amazing, but imagine someone with
Exactly. Imagine. I'm already imagining. I'm already imagining it.
yeah,
Way better, right? But I think
yeah, but yeah,
this was purely this was because when we did the backend, we needed a way of testing it, right? That doesn't mean
yeah,
it's the only UI we can have. We can have multiple UIs, right?
yeah. True, 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 true. I mean, they can still do it. Like, I think the one that we see here, like this section, like, imagine that they will automatically see this thing. They can assign more questions or remove out of it. Okay.
Well, if you go
Okay.
to the API docs, right,
Yes.
under question banks,
Yeah. Yes.
so we can we can list all question banks. We can get question ID, so we can see. Let's
Yeah.
have a look. Yeah, we can get
We can
question
hit the
bank
question
ID. Can
and
we
update the
actually?
question bank.
And we got bank questions as well. Look, remove
Yeah.
questions from a bank. Get and we can post. So we've got all the APIs we need to do this, right? And again, we our data model, when we created it, that was why we have this, right? We wanted to be able to do this, and that little app.
Yeah.
Remember that part I created the question generator that used Strands agents instead of Kiro. That actually uses these APIs, so we know it works, right? Because that doesn't
Yeah.
use, although it uses a different Bootstrap UI.
Yeah.
You know me, Sally.
Yeah.
I'm Bootstrap
For
for
me,
life.
yeah. I mean, for for me the question was not about the capability of backend, but like if the user should do it or not. But
Well, the thing is, right?
like, yeah,
What you could do, okay, is in this
yeah,
admin page, what you could do is you could create a UI experience that for an event they have to create a question bank. So, for example, it could be a field saying, give, or it could be auto-generated, right? You could generate the question bank
yeah,
name from the event name, right?
yeah,
And then the job of the creator is to then assign the questions from the questions list to the event, right? But think about that UI experience, right? Because depending on how many questions you've got, you're going to need to have a nice UI that allows you to search and select questions you want to include in this event, right? So the API there is to list all the questions. And remember, we've got two fields. We've got difficulty and programming language. So we can use those as a filter, or automatic filter, right? Because we're saying
yeah,
the event, what programming language do you want to? Oh no, that's actually a user event. That's a user filter, isn't it? Not an event filter. So actually, for events, we have to have all programming languages and all difficulty levels, right? So we could create an acceptance check in the admin that makes sure that there's enough questions across all different programming languages and difficulty
yeah,
levels for the tile board, right? So we could put that logic in that admin page as well. So effectively, we're looking at a minimum of 90 questions, 96 questions, right, are needed for
yeah,
any one game, right? Which we
yeah.
don't.
At
I
least,
don't even
yeah,
think
yeah,
we're close to that at the moment.
yeah. So,
There's a lot. There's a lot of work that goes into this admin page, isn't there, Sally?
yeah.
Here we were thinking
I
that
mean,
it would take us 5 minutes to do this.
I wanted to keep it simple. I wanted to just start building, then like fix it as we miss more. But
This is the right approach.
yeah, is it? No, no. The thing is, I want to move forward as well because I think we are like 40 minutes in, and like we didn't even create the task and so on. So yeah, let's see. So what is your final take? Do you think that uh, as I think more, it just doesn't make sense to have multiple admins then?
Well, I said that 20 minutes ago, Sally.
Yeah. Yeah. You remember I told you like I like our live streams.
I know exactly.
I don't anymore.
No, but
I don't.
I actually think that it makes sense
Yeah.
if this was like gonna be a product, right? I would agree with
Yeah.
you. But for our use case, I don't think we need to go down to that level. But so I appreciate the thinking.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure whether that was relevant for what we're trying to do.
All right. Okay.
So to keep it simple, Sally,
yeah,
we basically
let me
have
remove the
an event.
acceptance criteria.
So basically,
let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You tell me, I will do it. So let me remove these as well. We can get back to it according to the acceptance criteria. So what should I write?
So effectively, what we're saying, okay, is that actually I would undo that because you had some good things in there. We don't want to necessarily undo all of those things, right?
All right.
So I think I would call it I just call it an admin can create, delete.
Yeah.
So admin can create, delete, update, and read questions. Admin can create, delete, update question banks. Admins can remove questions to add and remove questions. Yeah. Admin page would be part of front end. Yep. Admin page would be guarded with a password.
Yeah.
So that the last one you can get rid of.
Yeah.
Okay.
The password will be, what was it? Menlo, I think. What was friend in
I don't know.
Elvish? Melon. Yes. It is.
Okay.
It is friend in Elvish. No.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So only the friends can go in. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got some here. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to basically also say is that what we haven't done is this is the acceptance criteria, but we haven't actually said what the actual flow of the admin page is, right? Yeah, we need to basically say when you create an admin page, when you create an event, when you open the admin page, two things happen: list current events or create events. So we need to create effectively. We need to I'm not sure if this is acceptance criteria or whether it's something else, right?
I mean, we will use this.
Okay. So let's say when you open the admin page, there's two options: list or sorry, well, admin page.
Admin. Mm-hmm.
Yes, admin page will display all current events and allow you to add or create a new event.
Admin page will
display
allow you to what?
First of all, we'll display all current events.
Yeah. Maybe we should do something like
and create a new one.
All right. And create a new one.
Okay, that's it.
But we are not.
Right, and then when creating a new event.
Yeah.
So I actually think this needs to be a separate section because we're going to have a flow now. So I think this should be a heading, Sally, creating a new event. Because we want to be opinionated in what the flow looks like, and so we can do that through a heading. So I'd hit return and give it a new heading, double hash, new event creation workflow.
Yeah.
Okay. So when admin clicks on create new event,
Yes.
The following. Well, actually, you can leave it like that. So I think starts with. If rather said when starts with
Yeah.
admin clicking on create new events.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, then basically,
Admin clicks on create new event. Why do
yep,
we don't say
yep.
starts with?
Okay,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
enter name for event.
Yeah. And for event. Yes.
Okay, right, and then enter welcome text for event.
Enter welcome text for event. Yes.
Enter theme for event.
Enter theme for event.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then now we got now we basically want to say this is where we're gonna get it to create auto generate a new question bank. So generate new question bank for event.
Question bank for event. But
And
how does it? How does?
I would put in
Yeah.
brackets the event name using the event name.
Okay.
And then lists questions that the admin has to assign to this question event.
List questions to assign to the question bank.
No, list questions that the admin has to assign.
Or the event. And
Yep. And there's one more thing. Okay,
using the theme for
no,
event,
the theme is
or-
a UI thing.
Okay.
That's no, it's the theme. There's one more. After enters theme for event, we need to basically also generate an access code. So after the no, to put that above. No, see, 31, line 31.
Yeah.
After line 31, generate access code for event. Okay.
Right.
List questions that that admins has to assign for event, and then I guess finally we want to review check, provide review check before creating events.
Before, not creating, but like we already.
Before saving event.
Yeah. For saving event. Yes.
Right. Okay. And so that's the and then basically the we've already said to allow it to edit. So that's okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's the basics. I think that's the basics.
The plan for each task created and get an approval before implementing. After the implementation, make sure to assess the implementation and correctness of it. All right, I think I will just tell Kiro now to create task for it.
You've had enough of this already.
No, but it's been 50 minutes. I want to build it.
I hear you, man. I hear you. And not a single line, not even a sniff of code yet.
Yeah, and like so far, oh my god, I know, like I am the reason that we're here, but still,
no, we're not. This is remember, Sally. This is a collaboration. We're both doing this, right? So current file, okay, good. Create task for the
according to the and write the tasks under the tasks subheading.
That sounds good.
All right.
And the thing is, this should be reasonably quick as well, right? This should be.
I really hope so. You know, I really hope so because
Sally,
I will question.
Where's your faith?
I will question my sanity otherwise. All right.
The thing is, though, I think here's the thing, though, Sally. We spent 40 minutes going through this, right? The alternative would have just been to dive straight in and vibe code, and it would have been a mess. It would have been an absolute mess, right? We would have had to checkpoint, and we would have had to go backwards and forwards. And remember, whilst we're doing that, we're using up tokens, right? So this is not something that's free. Whereas by actually thinking it through and spending some time, what we're doing is we're having a much better idea of what we're going to build. So we have much stronger intent, and we're going to save all those tokens. So for me, this is a win-win, right? Spend more time thinking, and less time throwing those tokens away, which is one of the reasons why, as much as I'm intrigued by OpenClaw, right, and all the different versions of that, I'm not ready to kind of use those because I'm just it's like, here's my wallet and just spend all my tokens, right? Even though you can put those limits on.
I am very close. I'm very close to use now. Like for me, I've seen some crazy things.
It looks awesome. I've got to say, I love the idea of it. It's just that I think I'm at the stage where I don't want to have unlimited usage of tokens, right?
I'm breaking some stuff.
What happened?
I
just saw something move. I thought there was something kind of crashing into your window.
Yeah, no, man. The sun was slowly burning me from here. I mean, I don't want to complain.
No,
but
I think you're doing the right thing. Sunscreen is important.
Yeah. So we have tasks now.
We've got tasks, right? Admin authentication.
Oh, we have 9 tasks. Like it feels like it is the Spectre window open tasks from Curate.
But are you surprised? Isn't this what you wanted?
It is more or less what I wanted.
Yeah, and actually, I prefer this approach anyway because these tools work better when you break down into individual components. Discrete tasks. So let's see what are the other tasks are. So admin authentication gate is the first one.
Yeah.
Admin API client.
We have the admin API client. Ooh. Okay.
Okay, we've got those.
Admin dashboard. All right. New
event workflow. This is looking good.
Yeah. You know what? Like,
I approve.
Yeah.
I think you've done a great job here, Sally.
Yeah. I mean, like, I couldn't have done it without you. Oh my God. So implement the tasks and okay, I will write it to the rules actually. When you implement a task, move the task to the completed
section. Yeah, subheading.
Section. Yes, thank you.
I
will just
And so I mean, it's interesting that we're doing it this way. Like you say, it's very almost spec-like, right? But we're not doing it specs.
But we like at the conferences and so on. Like people always ask about like, okay, do you like do I have to use a Spectre when they open and so on and so forth? But no, actually,
you don't. So remind me, Sally, the steering files we've got, we've just still got your TypeScript ones. We don't have any Python ones, do we?
No, because no one writes Python in this computer.
It's a Python free zone. Is that right?
Exactly. It is.
Yeah. I know. I understand completely because my machine up until recently was a TypeScript free zone.
Yeah.
But no, actually,
it changes slowly. It changes.
Yeah,
slowly.
Exactly. I do like TypeScript, despite some people having strong opinions against it. But I don't mind it.
That's another live streams.
It's done.
Conversation. We have the plan for tasks. So
it's the plan.
Approve it because I wanted to have like the plan.
Okay,
first.
Go ahead.
And it
code as fast as you can, Kiro.
Yeah, exactly. Go.
I would have put, max speed equals 1 in the Kiro.ini file.
Yeah, it is so nice. It's like, let's build it. I will take a screenshot of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
took the
exactly.
screenshot in a way that it actually looks the other way around.
So I
Heroics.
think we do. I think you're right. I mean, having reflected upon this, I think actually
Yeah,
creating the admin UI in the front end is now. I wasn't so sure, Sally, at the beginning of our conversation,
yeah,
but now I'm convinced it's the right answer.
yeah,
I think what's interesting, if we talk about this being a vibe coding session, and one of the
yeah,
important things is that we learn about the domain when we're doing this. I think
yeah,
if we were to take all the lessons from this and then convert it into a what I would say a prod version of this. I think adding
yeah,
authentication into the data model would be something that we would definitely do, right?
yeah,
Um, and purely from the point of view of that we've identified that we do need to have users, and those users
yeah,
need to have different levels of privileges, right? From creating events to just editing events, to adding questions, to that kind of thing. So we have identified a number of different personas, let's say, that need
yeah.
different access to this.
Yeah. I mean, I think while we were vibe coding, we were also thinking even to throw this away when this is done, when we were done with it, right? And
Are we
if we
are we
were
doing
to
that?
no, of course not. We are now like a startup, we are
I wish.
now like an actual startup. Like we were thinking we will just build and we were thinking like our MVP looks
You
quite
know,
good, so
I
why
know.
why should we go away?
So this
Yeah,
is this was always going to happen. So I ran innovation teams for many years, right? And
yeah,
when I was working with customers doing proof of concepts, right, it was a joke
yeah,
that, oh yeah, you're going to throw it away, you're going to throw it away. No one ever threw something that was working and they liked away, and they just wanted to
yeah,
carry on building on it. And so it would become a joke, right? Oh yes,
yeah.
proof of concept, proof of concept. Oh, we're production now, are we? Oh great. And that that's why it made me tickle, because I kind of felt this coming along, probably around episode 7 or 8.
Eh, shame, shame, shame. If you've seen this coming, which I did as well, we should
So
have
did it
stopped
did it
it. But
move did it
no,
move it to the second subheading? Did it, so has it actually created the
it moved to task one to the completed, and it is going to create a task two. But I updated the rules to use a playwright as well. So I would say continue implementing the tasks from
okay?
current file.
You know
So like
you know
this
you
way,
can
it
just,
get the full
yeah.
context.
So you can use in the actual in the chat interface, you can just use
Yeah.
up and down arrows as well to kind of like cycle through the prompts, which
Yeah, but like for me, like the other one was like go go go, or like I just had the current file.
of course, yeah.
So very very meaningless
Yeah, yeah,
things
yeah,
that I
yeah,
really
yeah,
have
yeah.
here.
And did you do this as a new session? So there's different contexts. Is that what you're
Yes,
doing for every
yes,
task?
yeah. I did it as a new session, so it gets the brand new stuff. Yeah,
Okay. So do you think so? Okay, I mean that's interesting, because I don't think I would have done that. So I'm interested
why?
in your thinking there, because I would, because this is all related to the admin page. Some of that
Yeah,
context might be useful, right?
I mean, it already gathered the context. So I can't say it was wrong.
No, I hear
But
you. It's just I think it's interesting that you can have a number of people using the same tool, and they over time
yeah,
they develop their own little ways of using it, right? And it's just I wouldn't have done that myself, but that's okay. It's not that it's right or wrong. It's just it's different.
yeah. Okay, so
Ah,
we
hello,
we
Tobias.
we
I
have,
hope you are well.
yeah, good to see you, man.
Well,
Very
we thought so
exciting
too,
for the
Tobias. We
project.
thought we thought we were here to deploy, but you know what? We've
You
got
if you didn't watch the beginning, you missed some heated arguments between me and Ricardo earlier on. That he was right at the end, but as you
no.
know me,
I
I'm a
I think we were
very
both right.
stubborn
I think we were both
person.
right.
I'm a very stubborn person, so
Yes. Well,
yeah.
I think that's the most important thing, is not who's right. It's just that we move
Yeah.
forward, right? That's the most important thing.
No, you're like the most important point is it's not who is right, it's important that I am right. So
Yeah. And you know what? And actually, I definitely believe that I was not convinced about the front end being the right place for the admin screen, but now you've convinced me, Sally. So, I think going forward,
I
I will
convince
be
you that it is not the right place. Or
no, it's the right thing. You've convinced me it's the right thing. So I think it
all
is
right.
absolutely the right. Well, I'll tell you what though. One thing we forgot to mention, okay, is that we needed to have the game UI completely separate
Yeah.
from. And actually, that's another point. I think that's another reason why I would have done it in one session, Sally, because
Yeah.
if we do it in one session, using the checkpoints is easier than if you do it across multiple sessions, right? Although I've not tried actually. Have you tried restoring a checkpoint across different sessions?
This is, by the way, like I just need to say this. This just goes crazy with it. It just implements stuff. It doesn't move things. I would say, did you check the instructions in
If it's done
admin
it, just
page?
let's move onwards. Seriously, don't let's not make it confused.
No, 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 no. Hey, I am the driver here. Okay, it needs to make me happy.
I know. Do what
Following
you are
the
told.
rules. Do what you're told. Obey me.
Or maybe it was going to do it. Maybe it was just too busy doing the source control stuff before it actually did that.
No, 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 no. No, no.
Oh no, it
See,
apologized to you, Sally. Will you take that
yeah, see,
apology?
no, because before you implement task 3, make sure you move
Yes,
the
I agree,
stuff
Tobias. I
from
agree. I
task
totally
2.
agree that Sally is the
Is the
AI
AI
driver and
driver and
overlord.
overload? Yeah, I'm drunk with power now. Okay,
Exactly.
make sure
This is
you
your
move
little
the stuff every time.
minions.
Also, make sure you uh, check the implementation as well. What is this? Is this like we're paying for this product? Okay, it needs to get better. I see you're working on a task that's up to no.
So I'm going to put it out there, Sally. I don't think you would have
Yeah.
had these problems if you did it in one session. Just
Oh
throwing it
my
out there,
god.
right? I'm just throwing
Today,
it out there.
today, like Kira works in a way that just making my life harder.
Exactly. It definitely it's obviously not tuned into your psyche today, right?
Yeah, yeah. I am very, very sad about it.
What's it doing?
Okay.
What's it doing?
It's going to call the playwright to check out if it has implemented successfully.
Oh, okay. Now that's more like it. That's more like it. We
Yes.
like it. We like it when it
But
starts using playwright, don't we?
yes, but like where is playwright? I don't see it. Ah, okay, there we
That's
go.
why.
Yeah, admin access.
Oh,
Yes, right
okay.
melon. See? Let me. Okay, friends. I selected Melon as a name because melon means friend. I think I was a friend of Ricardo's, for example, until
Oh,
until
this is looking good. This is looking really
yeah.
good.
See, everything is in place. It reads from the database as well.
Yeah. Wow, Sally, you
I,
blow me away. This is why we have people who front end people who know what they're doing on the
yeah.
on the
See,
full stack for noobs.
I mean, I wish we had a survey to compare the Bootstrap and this and get the answers from
Well,
people like what is.
I think Bootstrap served us well for many years, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I will hand it to you. So this looks way better. So
Thank
effectively,
you.
this is
That
actually
means a lot.
it's interesting because this is not how I had envisaged it in my head, but it's so much better,
Yeah.
right? It's so much better. And I kind of like
I-
how they've got the question banks and the questions from the admin UI. Oh,
Okay,
what
it is
happened
still
there?
testing it. I think it is still testing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's still
or no?
it's actually adding the
I
game
know.
banner then. Like,
Okay, because it didn't add the other pages yet, so it
yeah,
just takes
hasn't
us
added them
to
yet. Yeah,
yeah. AI
and
is
it
too
hasn't actually. You know
smart
what?
nowadays.
It hasn't actually listed. It hasn't got the edit, view, delete, edit buttons either, has it? So
No,
I'm guessing that's going to be
no,
a new task.
yeah. But it will do it. Now the task 2 is completed. Actually, task 3 is already implemented and committed. What? Because like, what? What? You didn't ask me. But anyway, I will let it shine. I will let it shine so it can
Well,
actually show
I mean, yeah.
me.
Let's. I mean, it's interesting though that it hasn't got the view edit, but let's see let's see when it finishes it and whether that comes. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
guessing that it can add that pretty straightforward, pretty easy afterwards anyway. So, but
yeah,
I'm liking the so far the progress is looking good at the moment,
yeah,
right? Which means that when we want to set up an event, this is going to be the
yeah.
page that people come to. They'll create a new event, they'll organize all the questions, and then basically when they go to event, all they've got to do is start up a browser, access the URI, enter the access code, and away they go, right?
Exactly. And they
Well, you
will
know what,
have
Sally, we haven't
QR.
done. Do you know
What?
what we didn't do? We didn't test, and this is something that that I think probably we should have done maybe more of, which is how hardened the back end or the game actually is to cheating, right? Because obviously we are just accessing APIs in the back end, right? And I don't know how easy it is to hack the React side of it, right? To basically always return.
Why? Why? You know what I will do? I will deploy both front end and back end, and I will tell the audience to hack it. If they can do, I will give them $10 AWS credit.
Yeah, you know what we should do? We can have a bug bounty, couldn't we? Right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
a free bag of Skittles for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. If they can hack the front end, I will give $5. For back end, I will give 20. So they will
Oh,
focus on.
really? Does that mean you've got more confidence in my back end then, Sonny, than your front end?
No, I want people to focus more on back end than front.
Ah,
Winning is
I see what you
higher.
did there. I see what you did there.
You know,
Yes, using using economics to try and
exactly.
shift the focus of hacking, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the last result that I
Ah,
have.
okay,
Let
right.
me
Well,
move this.
now I'm gonna double the offer for front end bug
Yeah,
bounty. But yeah, that folks, but we are planning to launch this so that people can actually play the
yeah,
game
yeah.
and try and break it. We were hoping to do that today by deploying it, but it looks like we're um,
Look at it, by the
oh
way.
yeah, this is it. Theme, welcome text, welcome to Space Adventure. Oh, I like the sound of this one.
Yeah,
I like the dialogue. So even the flow, the work. So one, event details, second, question bank, third, assign questions, and then four, review. I mean, this is beautiful. You need to accept that browser snapshot.
yeah,
Wow, this is looking good, man.
yeah.
Okay, new question
Look
bank name
at
test event. It does mean we're going to be creating a lot of new. Assign questions. Look at this.
look how beautiful.
That is beautiful, man. That is just.
Yeah.
What can I say? Although and yeah, I mean, coding.
Who cares about how your backend looks like when you don't have a beautiful UI? I'm sorry, but
No,
look at this.
I'm with you, Sally. I think this is like this is a thing of beauty. And now we've got a review question. We can go event creator, and we got a code.
Yeah, and you can
Wow,
copy as well.
look at this. This is awesome, man. This
I
is
am.
you know what, Sally. This is looking,
Yeah.
dare I say it, pretty professional.
I mean, why are you surprised? We are professionals, man.
I
Come
know,
on.
I know, I know.
Yeah, come on, we can do it. I
So,
know
folks,
we.
if you're joining Fullstack for Noobs,
Yeah.
Sally and me, we're creating effectively the admin screens for a game that we've been working on the last 14 episodes of this live stream. It's a game. It's called the Kiro Coding Quest or Coding Challenge. We haven't quite really got the name. I think it changes every time I say it. And it's a tile-based game,
It
32
Hero
tiles.
Coding Quest. Yeah.
Kiro Coding Quest. And so what we're
Yeah.
working on at the moment is actually the admin UI to actually create a new event, which is the starting point for actually being able to launch a game for players to then play. And so we thought this was going to be straightforward, and actually it's taken a lot of time to actually go through the details. But you know what, Sally, I think you can agree from the way it looks that was time well spent.
Yeah. No, 100%. And also, I really like that the tasks and the plans are followed as well. But at one point, it still needed a bit of like, touch to be able to move things
Indeed,
forward. But still,
but I noticed it's now staying in the same chat session, right? So
yeah. Because I heard from some people that it's better to stay.
well, I'm not saying it's better or worse, but it's just I think it's just I just I'm putting that out there. It's it can be
Yeah.
helpful, let's say, so that it carries on the context. So now we've got the
Eh,
now we've got the edit page. Okay, good. So that's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
was wondering when it only just listed it where the edit page was. So now we've got the edit stuff coming along.
So we like in the meantime, this implements everything and tests out. Let's talk about the deployment process. Like,
Yes, let's talk about that,
let's
Sally.
because we need to make a decision on where are we going to deploy this, how are we going to deploy this. You mentioned everybody's favorite EC2. We
That would
talked
so
about
EC2 for those people watching who aren't familiar with AWS. That's a virtual machine that will be run in one of the AWS regions, and you can think of it as just like just a virtual machine that you might already be running locally on your machine.
it might be also one of the most famous services
It is.
that
It is
that
second
is
one. The first
causing.
one I started using actually back in
Yeah,
2008. So
I mean,
yeah,
I was going to say it is also famous for having this random AWS bills in case you are not careful as well. So if you let them running and so on, make sure they are done.
so that's that. I think that would definitely. I mean, effectively, what running this in a virtual machine would allow you to take everything you just got and just plonk it straight into the cloud, right? And make it available to everyone. But
Yeah.
is it the best option, right? Not sure. I mean, but there is
I
one.
mean,
I
is
guess
it I can
there.
say no.
Well, I see. I don't think there's any ever absolutes. Well, not always. I mean, very infrequently are there absolutes in tech, right?
Yeah.
I can see some advantages, right, of it being on an EC2 instance, but I think let's think, Sally, about we've got really two components. We've got the front end and the back end, right?
Yeah.
And so the first thing is that should they both live on the same technology stack or hosting option? And again, I'm not sure, right? So, for example, uh, Amplify is a good option, right, for hosting React applications, right? But we wouldn't put the backend on Amplify, right? And we've got
I
the
mean, I
backend side of
would, but
things, right?
I mean,
Now, at the
we
moment, also,
can't put this backend anyway. Like this, we have to also be realistic on
yeah, yeah.
what we have as
So,
a backend solution as
and
well.
I think the backend is probably going to be the most problematic, though, Sally, because if you think about it, we've got the actual backend API itself, right?
Yeah.
It manages states at the moment to a local SQLite database, right?
Yeah.
That's not going to be if we were running on a virtual machine, that wouldn't be a problem, right? Because every time we restart the virtual machine, it's the state will be there. But if we look to maybe containerize this application, that then becomes a problem, right? Because
Yeah.
effectively, you're building it into a container image. Unless you store that outside of the image into a volume, for example, a shared storage volume, you're going to lose that that data every single time, right? So, and actually, it's not. It's you wouldn't keep a SQLite database. You'd probably move that to, let's say, an RDS database. I mean, you could also mount an EFS volume on a container image if you wanted to carry on using SQLite, and then mount it as a file on a file system, effectively. So that is something you can do. But we got the the thorny situation around the evaluation engine, right? The evaluation engine effectively does a Docker run. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we do this on a virtual machine, that's not a problem. Okay, as long as that virtual machine's got Docker installed, it will work, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would have to change the logic. If we were containerizing it, we would have to change the logic. We would have to do that somewhere else. Now, one option would maybe be to take those container images that we've got that running on your machine that are built using the build script, and maybe deploy those on Fargate. So leave those as long running containers, and then change the code to use one of those containers to do the evaluation. But we already talked about the most important characteristic is latency, right?
Yeah.
So these are trade-offs. These are trade-offs for all of the options for the back end, right?
Yeah.
So EC2 would bypass all those problems, right, for the back end. So it appears to me that we got maybe option one would be to front end amplify, back end EC2, right?
Mm.
Option two would be front end amplify, back end ECS, and RDS. That's where my head is at the moment. What are your thoughts on that?
EC2 looks like it makes sense. EC2 sounds like it makes sense at this point because EC2 is basically since you're running this computer, you would have access to everything. But what I'm thinking is like, since it's a virtual machine, do we need what kind of specs do we need? Like, can we make it work with a simple Linux machine and everything will be all right, or do we need also an expensive machine as well?
Yeah, so it's a good question, right? Now, luckily, because the way we've been developing the backend, okay, everything should run on Linux as well as it runs on our Macs, right? I don't see there being any issue. What one of the things we could do, okay, is we could use one of the AWS MCP servers to review the project, review the code, and ask it through Kiro to give us its opinion as to how or what spec. Now, this is not a complicated application, Sally, right? At most, if you think about it, right, we're going to have 5 or 6 players at an event, 5 or 6 players playing this at one time, right? Accessing the API. The only time that the only, I guess, potential bottleneck is going to be the calls to through Strand's agent to do the evaluation of general knowledge questions. But that's not necessarily a latency stroke CPU bound issue, right? It's just a network call, right? So, and we're only going to be having at maximum 5 of those, and it's unlikely that they're going to be synchronized, right? Because it's unlikely that all 5 people are going to be doing responding to questions at the same time. So I think our CPU memory requirements are very low. What will be required is, because we're running containers for the evaluation sandbox, we need to have an EC2 image that can handle those 3 Docker images running. And bear in mind that they, every time, because they'll be long running, right? They would need to have their own memory and their own CPU. So I think we can get away with probably maybe a 2 CPU, maybe a 4 vCPU, and probably 8 gigs of RAM. Right? I think we could get away with that.
If you say so, I believe that. If
But
you
we can
say
ask
that, I believe
Hero,
that.
right? We can ask Hero.
Yeah. No, I want to start. I want to have a starting point, but like for us, like right now, I think where we are at is basically for deployment. We are thinking about a hosting solution like Amplify Hosting, or like CloudFront S3, whatever it is we can use. I think having a separated hosting solution plus a backend, let's say deployment logic makes sense. For me, two more questions though. One is, what about the CI/CD pipeline? Like, how are we going to make sure it is working iteratively?
So, what I mean, in my head, I know that I would always be using infrastructure as code tools to package this up, right? And so my preference is going to be CDK to do this in TypeScript, because TypeScript, tends to be the first class support for most of the L2 constructs, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it would probably we would probably use the CDK MCP server to help us build the stack. But again, it's kind of like, it depends again on whether we go EC2 versus containers. Because if we go the container route, then you've got the additional logic in your CI/CD pipeline to rebuild those container images, publish them to ECR, and then restart with an ECS. Now that's actually reasonably easy to do, because a lot of the heavy lifting has already been done by the AWS services. So they do things like automatic green blue deployments and all that kind of stuff. With EC2, I've not done CI/CD deployments for EC2 for a long time, but it's just a update drop and some running some scripts. So I think that should be pretty straightforward to do for the back end.
Got it.
And we can use we can use code commit. We can use code commit to store everything now that it's back.
I mean, how many services do we have right now coming back from that, right?
I used to love. I mean, I used code commit for everything that I did before the deprecation, and then obviously now the revival, right? So
yeah.
But where's your head at for CI/CD then?
For CI/CD, if I'm being honest, I was even thinking about GitHub Actions. Like if we were heavily invested on CDK, I would have said like code pipeline to do like CI/CD and like for
100%.
But right now every code piece is on GitHub, so I was like, why not just take advantage of GitHub Actions as well, which is a solution that is known by the community, and so on. They can also check it out.
And the so here's a question for you, Sally.
Yeah.
Front end changes, back end changes through a CI/CD pipeline. So we're talking about two different CI/CD pipelines, right? Not one.
Yeah.
What are the best practices from the point of view of making sure that you don't get breaking changes when one change is made versus the other?
I mean, that is an excellent question, right? And I think the most important point is to keeping this deployment pipeline separated, right? And imagining that nothing on the dependent will change. If it changes, we know and we are aware of it as well, and we have tests and so on to make sure that it's going to be implemented. So this is one thing to keep in mind. The other point, on the other hand, is
and we have no tests, right? We have no tests at the moment.
Yeah, that's. I mean, in an ideal scenario, right?
Yeah.
Right
because
now,
I would say, I would argue that without tests, I'm not sure really how the value for the effort of the CI/CD is, right? Because I mean, yes, that is important. Don't be wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but obviously
I think it's the CD more than CI at
Yeah,
that point. I think it's the deployment part that is automated. Then the rest, I don't.
yeah, yeah,
The rest is just there for the sake of doing some sanity checks and like making sure you don't have any uh, what do we call it, like compile time errors and so on.
yeah. So I mean, you can I mean, obviously with the front end, I'm guessing the V tool that you're using already does a lot of that stuff for you to make sure the basic stuff compiles right and doesn't fail. So you would already be checking that you already be testing that before it checks in, right? So I guess the only challenge is if during the automated build in on CodePipeline, if there was a failure there, but even then, if it failed there, the push wouldn't be promoted, right? So the change wouldn't make it back. So that's your safety. That's your safety net, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is the way that many big uh, like projects are operated as well. Like the tests and everything are there for you to rely on the fact that if something is broken, you would know. And these two separated workflows that you would have would simply work out of the box. So
So
yeah,
so I guess the CI/CD
yeah,
approach will change based on the hosting options we choose, right? But I think but both option A and option B, the one thing that's consistent is the front end, right? Which is going to be Amplify.
yeah.
And does Amplify create auto generate its own CI/CD pipeline, or would we need to create that in CDK?
I mean, it creates its own, like it creates its own pipeline, but we can use, so there's an amplify YAML file, and with that YAML file, I think it's fine. Like we
Right.
can make it work.
So actually, what it's interesting. So at the moment with the front end application, okay, um,
Yeah.
how does it how does it, I've got a question for you, Sally. How does the
Yeah.
React front end know how to connect to the APIs, right? Because obviously we've asked it to generate that code in on your local machine, right? Um, but I'm assuming we would need to have some kind of configuration artifact, either a .env variable or something that would effectively list the API URI, right? So that it knows how to connect to it. Where have we configured that?
I mean, in this app or overall?
In the front end, because obviously it's only in the front end that we need to configure this, right?
I mean, overall, like if you're asking how we would normally do it, is generally you define environment variables in that .env file. Like
Yeah.
it's one way to go, and you just define it over there. And in case you have different flavors, then you create different
And do we have
flavored
that in our project at the
environment file.
moment? Did the front end create that?
I think so, if I'm not mistaken. But let's check
Let's have a
it
look.
out. And no, we don't have it. Where do we have it? Like, let me.
That's the back end, isn't it?
Yeah,
Maybe
it's the backend,
maybe it's
but
local. Maybe it's local host.
no, yeah, it's here. It created
Oh yeah,
like
Vite
it
API.
checks out, like it checks out if you have the environment file variable, you get it. Otherwise, it's
Other defaults. Okay, so we do need. Is it document? So did it create a README file? And is that documented in the README file? Maybe. Ah,
by
there we go.
default. Come on,
So,
come on.
hey, I'm asking the
Yeah,
question. I'm making Kiro look good here, right? And you,
yeah.
obviously.
It breaks my heart that you mentioned Kira before me, but sure.
I know. I know. I didn't mean that,
No,
but
no, no. We have been vibe
Kiro,
coding.
right? We both work for Kiro.
Yeah, yeah. We have
Okay,
been
so
vibe coding
effectively,
as well. Come on.
so we
Yeah,
would need to configure. Okay, so basically, we just need to create that as an environment variable, and so we
yeah.
would do that in Amplify. That there's a place where you configure environment variables
Yes, yes.
to do
Yeah,
that.
we
Right.
have everything.
Okay, cool.
And like environment variables on the hosting is quite a common practice as well. So it allows you to create like environment variables, secrets, and so on. So whatever you want to use, you can also pass that
Yeah,
information. That is not
Ooh.
only good for like API endpoints, but also good for like API keys and so on as well, of
yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah. Although be very careful, folks, with those API keys, right? In this new world,
Yeah, you know.
don't let your agents see them, unless
I mean,
unless they're temporary ephemeral
yeah,
ones. Um, okay, so
yeah.
I did have a follow on question from that. Okay, so
Look
if
at this beautiful thing. Come on.
when we deploy, yeah, it does look good, doesn't it, man? Looks very good. I've got to
Yeah,
say, this is way better than the
yeah.
Bootstrap UI. You know, who
It's.
who would in
I'm
this
not
modern
saying
day would.
that you are saying that. You know, I'm not saying that you are saying that.
I know. I have good taste, right? So
Yeah,
I appreciate the fine things in life, Sally, like yourself.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
All right.
when we deploy this on Amplify, the what one thing that I guess at the
Yeah,
moment the homepage just goes to the just goes to the uh, I think if I remember rightly, the first time you load the URL, it asks you for an access code, doesn't it? It asks you for an access code for an event.
no,
Is that
it does
right?
not actually. That is a problem. Like it actually. Let me remove this one. You see it like when you to start a new game. Actually,
Okay, so
yeah,
actually
the
that's
username
okay.
it asks. Yeah,
That's all right. That's okay. That's
yeah,
actually I think that's actually even better because
yeah,
although yeah, I think that's okay. I think that's all right.
yeah,
Although the homepage when you're at an event, what it basically
yeah,
means is you've got the generic homepage
yeah.
before you then go to your event. And if we, I
So
mean, the idea we had originally was to have different themes, so different graphics for
yeah.
different events. But I think that now, from the look of the way that it's designed, is not something that we're going to be able to do. I don't think.
No, we can. We can. We just need to bring in, like for example, S3 to hold the information and so on and so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah. Okay.
And in this,
Yeah.
I think we can do it. For initial version, maybe not.
Yeah.
But
Not for the initial. I think yeah, not for the initial version. Okay. All
I
right.
really would like to wrap this up beyond MVP, but still valuable.
Yeah.
So this way, we can start collecting feedback from folks who are
Yeah,
working.
I think that's what we need to do. We need to get the hosts. So actually, maybe then for simplicity, then maybe that's what we do. EC2 as a backend
Yeah,
because that's going
yeah,
to allow us to do that the
yeah.
quickest, right? Because we can
I was thinking
specify
the same as well.
the
Yeah,
target OS. We can specify installation of Docker, for example, so that uh, um, the sandbox evaluation engine will work.
yeah,
Um, so it's looking to me a little bit like that, and then we obviously we can configure. That's what I was going to ask. Okay, when you integrate React applications on Amplify with backends that are on AWS, say either API gateway or something else, how do
yeah.
you configure the security group so that you got access to those?
I mean, it depends on like what kind of setup you have. If like if you have coordinator, I think the user groups like defining a role for each user is a good addition. Like you assign a role for
Right.
the
So,
user. This is one way to go.
okay, so that's IAM permissions, but what about actually connectivity, network connectivity? Because obviously with EC2 instances, you by default you'll have no access, right? So how do we make sure that I open up the Amplify service to be able to access, and actually not just the Amplify service, just
Mhm.
just the one React application that we deployed?
I think we need to think about it because like right now when I think about it, only way that I can think of is
You
just
don't need to think
basically
about it, Sally, because we've got the AWS MCP server that we can use to help us, right?
I
Which
mean, no,
we will
I
come
want to.
to. Maybe not today,
Yeah.
but maybe on our next stream.
But here's the thing, I wanna mention something though. Like generally when you have an API gateway, which is your entry, like which is the entry point for your application, to connect to the resources, you do the handshake on that layer already. So you need to define tokens, you need to define an authorization layer as well. Generally, you can define it either like if your user is like sign in and so on, you can define through the IAM roles as well as also like I don't think it's IAM roles though. It's like Cognito, every Cognito user can have a user type or definition with specific capabilities, right? You can move them to the admin or not, and so on and so forth. So it's independent from IAM roles. It's actually you define the signed in
Yeah,
users
you
into
assert
the roles.
identity, or you assert the roles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's more at the application level. I'm talking more actually lower than that. So, you know, if we host a front end somewhere, then if the back end is hosted on an EC2 instance, no one's going to be able to access that until we open up the security group, right? But we don't want to open it up to anyone. We want to open up only to the Amplify front end, right? And specifically the one front end. So when you configure through the Amplify console, does it have the concept of a security group or a VPC, for example, that it's deployed into?
Yeah, of course. It does. It does.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it does.
Okay. So has it finished, Kira? Has Kira finished?
Yeah, it is finished. Let me show you what we have done. And it is.
So we did
it is
finally get some
beautiful.
code. We finally did. So at least we got one thing done today, Sally. We were hoping to get both
Don't
things done
say
today,
that.
but
We did more than one. We have had great conversations, okay? So we had this like melon. Now we have events. You can have a create event and so on, cancel. You can see the question banks. You can
and you can
edit the
actually create them
question
from here.
banks.
So we can actually
Exactly.
create. Yeah.
You know, could
And can
you
you delete?
before? No.
Can we delete?
Yeah,
Can
you
we
can
delete the
delete it
question
as well.
banks as well?
Yes. No, failed to fetch. Okay, let me. Okay, it's a tiny bug. And we have the questions. Let's move on. And we
Can we
have
delete a
the
question?
filters.
Can we delete a question?
Yeah, let me delete it. There. Now the thriller is gone.
That's good. So okay, so question. We can delete questions. We just can't delete
Yeah.
question banks for some reason.
Let me check. We can also delete the events.
Okay, so it's just.
Question bank.
Oh, no, it
Okay,
works this time.
I understand. If a question bank is tied to an event, you can't delete it. That's the thing.
Ah, that's good. That's actually a really
Yeah.
good. Okay, so yeah, so question bank one remains, but you can delete the other question banks.
AI was just smarter than we thought it would
Yeah.
be. That is the thing.
Okay, so just to recap,
All
because
right.
we're coming up to the end of today's stream.
Yeah.
We have implemented an admin page. The admin page is what it will allow us to create new events. So when we go to an event, we use this to effectively define the specifics for that event. So theming, branding, but also the questions we want to use, and through a separate user interface, make that available
Yeah.
to the front end.
Also, we had nice conversations as well. It was like today we also
We always have
learned.
a good conversation.
Yeah. But like people don't know, we need to say that like, hey, this is a nice. Today was a very nice stream. I would say we have done a great job. I think we did a great live
I think you
stream
did
as
a
well.
fantastic job, Sally. I think you should give
Yeah.
yourself a round of applause. Well done, Sally.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will. I will be happy. Let me remove
Oops.
this.
Sorry. Apologies. Yes, and remove it.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll our next stream we will shift focus now now that we've got the admin page up and running. We're going to focus on actually deploying this onto AWS. And during the conversation today, we talked about some of the options. Because we want to get this out quickly and we want to get this into hands so people can test it, we're going to proceed with the simplest option, which is option A, front end hosted on Amplify, back end on EC2, whilst we deploy that all through CDK. So check out our next episode of Fullstack for Noobs, which will be sometime this week. Not sure when because I can't make Thursday. So maybe depending on your availability, Sally, Wednesday or Friday.
Friday is not happening. Friday is the Eid, so I will be with my family. I will
Oh,
be off.
okay.
So
Well,
we can do
don't worry, folks.
Wednesday.
We will advertise it on the YouTube channels. So watch
Yeah.
out for those, and we'll see you on the next session of Fullstack for Noobs. Thank you, Sally.
Yeah. Thank you. And I broke some stuff on the Twitch side. I'm still learning, but overall clear chat. Yeah, sure. Why not? Anyway, we can do it later. Great job to both of us. Maybe tomorrow, maybe later, we will discuss. And excited to see you all. Excited to see you, Rick. And take care, everyone. Bye bye.